Hi everyone. So there's good news, which is that this plate now doesn't leak. I've rebuilt it with a couple of different two-part adhesives, and you can see on this top layer how it all smushes together. So the bottom layer was done with this stuff, tap poly-weld, and then the top was done with this stuff, 3M DP 8010. Both of them seem to be holding up pretty well. The 3M stuff cures a lot faster, but the poly-weld is a lot cheaper, so that's what I'll probably end up using. But so far, this seems to be holding up to the pressure just fine. The only problem I'm having with it right now is that this mounting hole here, since it's so close to the flow channel, and I didn't have the glue far enough over, so it kind of leaks out through there. But that's something that can be pretty easily rectified by just applying the glue over there rather than trying to go down the middle of that. The other one there was more, so it wasn't really a problem. The other improvement we made was using these pieces of granite countertop for holding them together as the glue cures. So we've got that one and this one over here. And by sandwiching that plate between it, it seems to have done a really good job of keeping the whole glue line pressed down flat. And then a big problem with the last one was, of course, that instead of using a two-part adhesive, I was using a one-part adhesive. And for non-porous surfaces like these, if you don't oven dry it, then it doesn't really cure because the solvent or whatever doesn't evaporate out. And that's probably what really killed the last one, but the new process helps, I'm sure, as well. So I've rigged it up for pressure testing. This piece has a couple O-rings under it to seal this radiator tester pump into here. And then there's mostly water in here. Now I did actually already pump this up a little bit. It burst at like 4 psi around here and maybe elsewhere, but I'm gonna just clamp that up and see if it holds elsewhere, or maybe that spot was just a fluke. Where did it go now? Might be sucking water into this thing too, which doesn't help, but I heard it burst somewhere. That new water right there? Oh, it's leaking out up here. Alright, I've torqued these down a little better. Let's see if that holds air. Crap. so all right, so it was the bottom that let go first. I'm not yet sure if that's the poly weld, or if that's because of the poly weld, or because this aluminum plate flexed. Because this is super thin stuff. The ones I have on order are considerably thicker. They're 063. That's a little worrying that let go at only 4-ish psi. So I guess I'll have to get the actual aluminum parts and then experiment to see whether or not this will hold up. It'll really suck if I have to go back to the drawing board and make these edges thicker. So let's hope that with the less flexible aluminum I don't have to do that. It's also possible that having it clamped between two batteries will provide enough force to keep these together, because there will be a considerable clamping force from that in addition to the blue. I also think it's separated somewhere in here, but I can't see inside to tell, but it sounded like something in here was popping. So my new 063 plasma cut aluminum plates arrived, and while they're definitely nice and stiff, I ran into another problem. So while I was cutting away the supports on this plate, one of these things just popped off, and then another one did. I've cleaned the glue off this one, but and basically this whole thing detached from the aluminum with a lot less effort than was going to be anything that would work. And somehow, basically all of the glue stayed on the HDPE. So it seems that this aluminum piece was not sufficiently prepared. So in the interest of not experimenting with $20 or whatever of glue every time, scaling back a little bit. So I've got these test pieces, testing out the two different glues, as well as preparing with the angle grinder versus the dual action air sander. So in a little while I'll see whether or not these actually work. I also got a new batch of the tap poly weld. Although it seems like this gun is actually the same as my 3M gun that I used for this stuff, this one. At least they both, it seems to fit this cartridge, but I'm not sure if it works because I'm having a really hard time getting that stuff to dispense, even through these supersized 3/16 mixing tubes. So I'll have to see whether or not there's something wrong with mine, or if it's really just supposed to be that hard to squeeze. Okay, I've got these test pieces. I'm going to tear them apart. Oh, there we go. That's actually pretty good. It stayed kind of adhered to both. Like here it was, there's just a little bit left. Here there's a bunch and it didn't stick to that. That was definitely a lot tougher than the earlier stuff. So that probably works. This is the
white glue?
No, this is the blue stuff. The 3M.
What was the first one?
Also the 3M.
What's the difference?
One I used the DA sander and one I used the wire wheel.
Which one's which?
This one looks to be the wire wheel. Alright, we'll try this one.
What is this one?
This one's the white glue with the wire wheel. Yep, so that stuck to the aluminum pretty good too. And I had to peel it rather than... So that's also stuck to the aluminum too. Alright, well I guess either that'll work. This is super not fair to the glue. To peel it like that. Ugh. Damn. Yeah, that really kicked my butt. Some strong stuff. Alright, well that's good. Means that I can probably go ahead and assemble another one with the white stuff that I have. And then it will hopefully stick together this time.